Listen, we fucked up.
Golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, #1. Donald is coming to set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright. Golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, #1.
خذها يا ترامب خلص ترامب 2024.
If you don't want to vote for Jill, vote for Donald Trump. But do not give a vote to Kamala Harris and expect to be welcomed by my community.
If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone.
Don't look at us who voted for Harris. Because hashtag, we tried to tell you.
People told me thanks to Trump for the ceasefire. Let's thank him in the right way. Thank you for giving the IDF billions of dollars to define themselves from our children. Thank you for using the veto not once, 10 times to make sure the bombs falling for us. Veto. Thank you for sending smart muscle. It's so smart. Always find their way to our children. Thank you for calling it self-defense. I didn't know defense mean bombing school and hospitals. And thank you for your silence. It's so louder than any exploitation we hear.
And I was scrolling in my TikTok. Actually, it was Instagram. And I saw a clip that I'm going to show you later on during this video that it got me to think, what happened with the Arabs for Trump? You know that I used to do these clips a lot, or I used to do these videos about the Arabs for Trump. And then I suddenly stopped for like 2 months doing Arabs for Trump. But I just decided that with this video, I'm gonna answer your questions. There are a lot of things that are happening in the Arab community. Stay towards the end because this video is gonna get really interesting. And I got you some clips that's gonna be wow, wow, wow. I prepared you an amazing video. It's a must watch, okay? It's a must watch because it's a lot of things that I'm gonna tell you in these clips that it's gonna be important. So I just wanted to say, my new subscribers, you are the real VIP in this channel. So don't forget to drop a like to this video, subscribe to my channel, and for my old subscribers, you know that I love you, okay? You know that I love you. You know that you are close to my heart, okay? Thank you so much for the money for coffee. You guys keep surprising me. You guys are truly the best. And I just say that from the bottom of my heart. You guys are truly, truly, truly the best. And I'm like a kid in the candy store every time that I receive money for coffee. So stay towards the end because this is going to get really interesting.
Because Arab Americans and Muslim Americans voted for Donald Trump or stayed out of the election by voting for Jill Stein, and in general because other races voted so much less for Kamala Harris than black women and black men, who were at above 90% and above 80% respectively, I have seen so many people in the comments of so many videos saying, good luck, fight for Palestine on your own, I'm going to Starbucks, I'm done fighting for this movement, and win it without us. Don't ask black men and women to get involved in this anymore. It's your problem. You didn't stand up for us. We're not going to stand up for you. To be clear, I think this is going to be the biggest loss to the pro-Palestinian movement after the fact that y'all just elected Donald Trump, a man who says that he will happily let Israel completely roll over Gaza, that he wants to use, property in Gaza for a beach resort, etc., etc. Netanyahu isn't even trying to hide the fact that now he can do whatever he wants. He's not even willing to negotiate a ceasefire. And we're so when I say that the
in the Middle East to build sections of it, other people may do it through our auspices, but we're committed to owning it, taking it, and making sure that Hamas doesn't move back. There's nothing to move back into. The place is a demolition site. It'll be The remainder will be demolished. Everything's demolished. I mean, you can't live in those buildings right now. They're very unsafe. But we'll make it into a very good site for future development by somebody. We'll let other countries develop parts of it. It'll be beautiful. People can come from all over the world and live.
Oh my fucking Christ. I had to record this because I've just read the news story coming from the Washington Post that Donald Trump is going to offer Palestinians $5,000 to move. He's also going to offer 4 years worth of subsidies to rent and enough food for a year so that America can then take ownership of the Gaza Strip for 10 years and rebuild it in whichever way they want. Of course, also in there, aiding and abetting in this proposal is Tony Blair, the most satanic, money-orientated genocider known to man, giving everything an air of sort of respectability. This is the proposal that's going to come out of the White House. This is a document that's doing the rounds at the White House and in Washington. A 25-page document, $5,000, 4 years worth of rent, a year's worth of food, and the possibility in 10 years' time of coming back into the Gaza Strip. But you'll have to redeem a digital token in order to live there.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he wants to take over the Gaza Strip with no plan of return for the Palestinian people. Take a listen.
We'll build beautiful communities for the 1.9 million people. We'll build beautiful communities, safe communities. Could be 5, 6, could be 2, but we'll build safe communities a little bit away from where they are, where all of this danger is. In the meantime, I would own this. Think of it as a real estate development for the future. It would be a beautiful piece of land.
Would the Palestinians have the right to return?
Spent. No, they wouldn't, because they're going to have much better housing, much better. In other words, I'm talking about building a permanent place for them. Because if they have to return now, it'll be years before you could ever. It's not habitable.
So this quote, real estate development of the future, was made possible by U.S. taxpayer-funded bombs that destroyed the Gaza Strip via the Israeli military. And now the U.S. is going to own the Gaza Strip, rebuild it, and permanently kick out the Palestinian people? Does this sound like an America First foreign policy to you? No, to me it sounds like a perfect recipe for pissing off the Arab world and creating more anti-American sentiment, which further endangers U.S. citizens. Follow Corruption Report for more videos on corruption in the ruling class.
I do see a long-term, take over that piece, and we're going to develop it, create thousands and thousands of jobs, and it'll be something that the entire Middle East can be very proud of.
You are talking tonight about the United States taking over a sovereign territory. What authority would allow you to do that? Are you talking about a permanent occupation there?
I do see a long-term ownership position, and I see it bringing great stability to that part of the Middle East and maybe the entire Middle East. Everybody I've spoken to loves the idea of the United States owning that piece of land, developing and creating thousands of jobs with something that will be magnificent in a really magnificent area that nobody would know. Nobody can look because all they see is death. If the United States can help to bring stability and peace in the Middle East, we'll do that. Bibi?
I mentioned again tonight our 3 goals, and the third goal is to make sure that Gaza never poses a threat to Israel again. President Trump is taking it to a much higher level.
Kamala was right about everything. And yeah, to be fair, if you go back and watch her campaign speeches, everything she said Donald Trump was going to do if he was reelected, he's doing. Also, Israel bombed Gaza right after they signed their peace deal. Adelita Grijalva still has not been sworn in. The Epstein files still not released. And fuck your purple revolution. Anyways, have a great Saturday, everybody.
And again, Ben, no it didn't. Has been fucking over the Palestinian people since the 90s. You just became aware of it in October of 2023. So you didn't even care about your own people the way you claim you did until 2023. Because, Ben, if you gave a fuck the way you claim to, where the fuck were you in 2020 when Trump was in the White House and Israel was still fucking with the Palestinians? Where were you, Ben? And you should have Biden, Harris not Kamala Biden. That would suggest that Biden was the vice president and Kamala was the president, which that wasn't the case. And you're saying they're equally bad? Is that what you're saying? Again, whatever you need to tell yourself so that you can sleep at night. But we all know that you're a fucking liar. And it's going to not only remain rubble under Donald Trump, it's going to become a vacation spot. They're going to turn that shit into beachfront property in a parking lot. So now what? Like, what great changes are you making for the people of Palestine now? Responding on TikTok? How the fuck is that helping them? Like, really, how is that helping them? Like, how are you being upset with Kamala Harris helping the people of Palestine or any Arab around the world?
The Democrats, Kamala, they lost the Arab American vote. She lost really badly in Michigan. Like, really bad. True. But, right, just keeping her on the flip side, Bernie Sanders said this. The way how the Biden administration handled the genocide happening in Palestine was not the best. And they really need to do better.
Agreed.
But, he said, but, young people, if Trump goes into office, please know things will be really bad.
It's not going to get any better.
Going to be really
and I think
bad.
that's also a problem, too, is that the Biden administration, Kamala Harris herself has called for a ceasefire and said that if she gets elected into office, that she's going to work towards whether it was a two-party state or, just ending the war in Gaza in general. She has said this herself, but people love to look at what the Biden administration has said and what Biden himself has said. When that's not, of course, Kamala Harris is vice president and is a part of the Biden administration. But right now we're talking about if she's going to become president of the United States. And this is what she's saying that she's actively going to do.
Yeah.
And I was just looking up the numbers, and I had did calculations because this week has been hellish. And I was like, let me actually sit here and find out what third-party voters are really, sitting here trying to do. She lost Michigan by 82,000 votes. The third-party voters in total had 109,000 votes. If you really sit here and think, that's insane. There's no reason that she should have lost that state by that much. Even if she did lose that state entirely, there's no reason that these third-party voters are really going to sit here thinking that a third-party candidate is going to win.
Listen, just keep it real. I know y'all not researching like this. Because,
You're not.
Because Jill, let me tell you something. Jill Stein, she resurfaces every 4 years.
Yes.
Okay?
You never hear her name otherwise.
You're not going to hear from her until 2028. She hops on what's trending, and then that's what she bases.
You don't want to vote for Jill? Vote for Donald.
Not just pathetic. This is pure evil.
This dude is fiercely defending Maya, but correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it Maya and creators like Maya who are the ones who started the drama with pro-Palestinian black women? Because this just seems like gaslighting. Now, everyone can vote for whoever they want to vote for, but there's gonna be a problem. If you attack the black community for the black community voting in the interest of the black community, and that's where a lot of y'all fucked up. Many of us are under no delusions that the Democratic prioritizes our best interests. We vote for survival. We pick the candidate that we can get the most out of, that we can negotiate with. And at least with Kamala, Palestinians in Gaza had a chance of survival. And we could have tried to push her for more. Now, it's highly likely that we can even get out in the streets and protest for ourselves, much less Gazans, because now we got to worry about the National Guard and police immunity under Donald Trump that you guys helped get elected. I hope that you understand now why many of us vote strategically, and I do wish the very best for the people in Gaza because sadly, they are the ones that are going to suffer. And those influencers are representing them who are not in Gaza heavily contributed to their suffering.
For everybody saying, oh my God, she wasn't a supporter of Palestine. She wasn't an advocate for us. She never really cared. I don't care. I boycotted for y'all. I empathize with y'all. I fought for y'all. Almost lost my page for y'all. I donated to y'all. I put families on my pages knowing good and well black people behind me were telling me, girl, don't do this shit. They're going to turn on you ASAP. I was told that and I ignored it. I did lives for y'all. I shit on people. Every time I saw a black person or a person of color with a Starbucks coffee, I went off on them in their comment. I was down with y'all like 4 flat tires in the hood, baby. But when it was time for y'all to meet us in the middle, y'all showed us that y'all didn't care about black lives at all. Y'all showed us the only reason we mattered to y'all was for the sake of your people, but fuck ours. Y'all wanted Trump in office. Y'all got Trump in office. Go talk to Trump. That is your man now. That's who you wanted in. You decided to actively protest against Kamala Harris. You went to her rallies, you marched, you made videos, you did speeches, you did everything you could, and you got people to actively sit out of this election in protest of Palestine. And
listen to how these people who voted for Donald Trump in Dearborn, Michigan now feel. It's kind of interesting.
So how do Arab American Dearborn residents who voted for Trump now feel about what they did and their pick? CNN's Danny Freeman went there to find out.
In Dearborn, Michigan, the campaigns and the candidates have gone, but the politics linger.
I think that the community is going to continue to be engaged and polarized.
In the final days of the race, Lebanese-American Albert Abbas welcomed former President Trump to his family's restaurant in Dearborn.
I, along with many others, truly appreciate that you made it a priority to visit Dearborn.
Abbas agreed to host Trump only after he pledged to bring peace to Lebanon and the Middle East.
We're very optimistic and hopeful, and quite frankly, I'm excited about a second term of a Trump presidency.
What was your reaction to some of these cabinet announcements? You see someone like Mike Huckabee as ambassador to Israel, someone like Elise Stefanik looking to go to the UN, Marco Rubio, all pretty hardline when it comes to the Middle East.
I'm not going to judge his appointees right now. We'll hold his feet to the fire once he's president.
President-elect Trump won the state of Michigan by about 80,000 votes. In the majority Arab-American city of Dearborn, Trump won with 42% of the vote, while Vice President Harris only received 36%. Jill Stein, the Green Party protest choice of many anti-war voters, got 18% of the vote here. What was the perception that you thought Donald Trump will be doing?
So as Donald Trump told us he will stop the war, but now he's putting people in office that are with the war, practically.
The Lullaby Dude voted for Jill Stein. She couldn't bring herself to vote for Vice President Harris because of the Biden administration's support for Israel. But she feels Trump has already squandered his goodwill in the Arab American community. How do you feel about voting Green Party now?
I feel good that I don't have blood on my hands because, like I said, they're all with genocide. So having to be not a part of all that makes me feel good.
Do you regret not voting for Harris?
No, because she's even worse.
How are you feeling now that President-elect Trump won?
Yeah, I'd say definitely a range of emotions. Disappointed is one. Angry is another.
Lexi Zaydon is one of the leaders of the uncommitted movement and left the top of the ticket blank. She hears the criticism that voters like her helped elect Trump, but rejects it, saying they wanted Harris to work with them.
You could have added every single vote in Dearborn and Kamala still would have lost. You could have added every single Jill Stein vote across the country, Kamala still would have lost. And so this wasn't a referendum on Gaza policy. That this election was not lost because of Gaza or because of uncommitted voters. What it showed you is that she not only was sidelining uncommitted and Arab and Muslim voters, but she was sidelining other communities of color as well.
Do you have any regrets?
I have no regrets because what I did and what I believe uncommitted did in the last 10 months is we did everything we could to offer the Democratic leadership something to save this democracy and to save Palestinian lives.
Now, Jake, folks that we spoke with for this piece all acknowledge that their Arab American communities are only growing, and they're hoping that those communities are only more influential in upcoming elections. They all told me that they expect in years to come that neither party can afford to ignore them or break their promises to them. Jake?
So I was walking around the old city of Jerusalem the other day in a predominantly Jewish neighborhood, and I saw this sign, "Make Gaza Jewish Again." This sign was everywhere, not just once or twice, but everywhere. In fact, the first time I saw it was right by an old mosque in this neighborhood called the Umar ibn al-Khattab Mosque, which has been closed down by the Israelis. Make Gaza Jewish again. Now, if you read the history books, which I do, Gaza was never really Jewish. It was never really part of any of the ancient Jewish kingdoms. But I have some news for the Israelis. Do you know that since October 7th, Palestinians in Gaza have had more babies than we've lost? Yeah, we love each other very much. Remember all that lingerie you found and were wearing in the houses in Gaza in the beginning of the war? Well, I guess some of the women took it with them, and it's working. So Gaza is actually becoming more Palestinian every single day and night, I guess, all through the night. Free Palestine.
And this one, the one that we just saw, the one that say may, let me double check, make Gaza Jewish again. This one is one of the worst. He's a comedian and he's an influencer. And he voted for Donald Trump. He voted for Trump. And now he's complaining somehow because he went to Israel. And he said there is, in all Israel is signs, okay? Because in Israel it's a big population also of Palestinian people. Actually, they say the real Jewish are the Palestinian people that they later converted to Islam. But he just see those signs everywhere. Make Gaza Jewish again, and that's really what they are doing. Those people, they are gonna be split in 10 different countries, those 2 million people. And Trump is gonna give him $5,000 for they can find a place to live. After that, he's gonna give him some money for food for like the next 2 years. And after that, you are in your own. You are in your own. If they have house that they have, if they have some kind of business, if they have some kind of money, all that is gone, completely, absolutely gone. Those people now had nothing, just only the $5,000 they supposedly they're gonna receive by Trump. You know, Trump doesn't follow his promise, you know. So probably they don't gonna get those 5,000 people. They probably don't gonna get the money for food either. They don't gonna get none of that. And they're gonna be split in 10 different countries. That's what really is gonna happen. And these people, the Free Palestine movement, the ones that say never Kamala, all those peoples, this is in their hand.
As Trump begins to build his cabinet out, Muslim voters in Dearborn, Michigan are now feeling regret for voting Donald Trump into office. Now, I've told you guys many times, my dad is Muslim, his entire side of the family, they are Muslim. I used to go to the mosque every Friday when I was a kid. Now, I'm not religious whatsoever, but throughout this election season, I've had many deep conversations with my dad and his Muslim friends, people that I used to know from the mosque. Many of them were very hesitant to vote for Kamala Harris, but I convinced my dad, I convinced everybody, they're all quite liberal, but many people in Dearborn, Michigan, in this particular town, ended up voting for Donald Trump. Now they are feeling regret. We're actually seeing regret among multiple sectors that
I also told people, like, hey, listen, Donald Trump want to take our ability away to say free Palestine. Not only fight against Palestine, Donald Trump is going to make it illegal to say free Palestine. That's what I said during the election. Then it's right here. You think you help Palestinian people? You do not have the jurisdiction to tell me how I've helped Palestinian people. You're not Palestinian. You're not Palestinian. As a matter of fact, a lot of y'all have Palestinians in y'all mouth and y'all don't give a fuck. Y'all weaponizing the livelihood of Palestinians to say, aha, I told you so. Demon shit. Y'all ain't gonna like this either. I'll be clear too. Do I think Kamala Harris would be having a military on American citizens? Nah. Do I think Kamala Harris would fire the non-bipartisan FBA person and make it where they was him? No. Do I think Kamala Harris would be threatening people that disagree with her? No. Do I think Kamala Harris would have Palestine the same way? Yes. Yes. Do I think that third-party voters determine the election? No. Third party got 2% of all votes in this country. 2%. And all of them wasn't even towards Jill Stein. But y'all want to fight against people y'all thought voted third party. So much y'all even make up niggas for the third party. Y'all, I'm talking about, I want to know this. I want to see whoever said that I voted third party, I want to see you. Real talk, I want to see you though. I want to smell your breath. I want to smell that cologne or that perfume you got on. I want to see you. I do want to see you. Like, I want to see you for real. Like, whoever passed off this lie that's become now very popular on TikTok, I want to see you. I want to see you.
What do you say to people who argue that you are wasting your vote in helping to get Trump elected? Who would like to take that first?
Well, if Trump does get elected, that's not our problem. That's solely the Democrats' problem. I can't, in good conscience, vote for either party, Democrat or Republican. So like when they say, oh, but, you know, a vote third party is a vote for Trump. Well, first off, I'm not gonna vote for somebody who has a direct hand in genocide. And then secondly, I'm not voting for Trump either. So that's your problem, not mine.
Okay, does anybody want to add to that, please?
I think it's kind of presumptuous to assume that the Democratic Party had our votes in the first place. So I actually, I resent that assumption. In 2020, not 2020, I'm sorry, back in 2000, I remember both parties kind of scaring our community into going one way or another, right? I was not old enough to vote. Then in 2004, they scared me into voting for John Kerry. I said never again at that point. I'm not going to be backed into this anymore, into this corner. The lesser of two evil is actually the evil of two lessers, and I'm not going to engage in that.
So I think to the point of a vote for a third party candidate, although I'm not voting for a third party candidate, the idea that a vote for a third party candidate is actually a vote for Trump, I would actually respond and just reframe the discussion and say that a vote for either of the two candidates is actually nothing but a vote for the corporatocracy that is actually running the entire government. You know, we've been scared with one party, scared with the other. I think also this is something that this is really nothing new. This is something that, like Malcolm X used to speak about it, you know, more than 60 years ago. And the fact that what he said is so perfectly relevant just shows you how nothing really changes in this system. They use one party to make you feel that it's so scary you have to vote for the other party, and then they just switch their policies back and forth to keep you in that trap.
I just lastly want to contribute being I likely will vote third party or potentially write-in. And I'd say that the response to that question is I don't want to be asked strategically how I should vote. I'd like to be asked morally how I should vote. I want to do what's right on the ballot. And I want my conscience to feel that I've done something right. And the question that we keep on being asked, guys, focus on strategy. You don't tell someone that's more, you know, has a morally injured soul after a genocide for 1 year, what's more strategic for your community, right? So I need to stand by the Palestinians. I need to stand by the Lebanese. I have to understand that the system is broken, right? And no amount of strategy will fix that, right? And it's let alone my one vote. So,
Please, yes, behind you, Nasser.
First of all, we have a very corrupt political system. Both parties are corrupt, and they have a symbiotic relationship with each other. They feed, the corruption feeds off each other. When I look at this election, it's basically we need to punish the Biden administration. Simple as that. I don't care who you vote for, but we need to show Biden and the Democratic leadership that you cannot commit a genocide and come back to us for support. We need to put a nail in the heart of this administration. And Kamala Harris is just an extension of the administration because she hasn't said she's going to do anything different. So if Trump gets elected or, you know, and they lose, that's a great thing. Because in the end, we're standing up against genocide. There's nothing else that matters. Not the economy, not healthcare, not education, not roads, not taxes, but the people dying in the Middle East. The wantless killing that's happening.
I think I partially agree with you, but not totally. I mean, I do fear, I don't want a Trump presidency. I was definitely against the first one. I saw the harm that he did to many different communities. We have a lot of allies and we work in allyship with a lot of different communities here that a Trump presidency is going to harm. So I wouldn't say like nothing else matters. But yes, it's true. When we see our people being genocided, that takes top priority. We want to stop the slaughter. What I would say to those who are saying a vote for a third party is a vote for Trump is for them, these people, to look inward, because we have been telling them for over a year that you can't get our votes this way, that the Democratic Party needs to focus on why we are turning away from them and not just blaming us or trying to fearmonger us into voting for them. Just like my colleagues here said, and they shouldn't presume to have our vote. And now we're seeing, for example, these attack ads against Jill Stein and against third parties, as if they're collaborating with Trump. That's not true. Actually, most people who I know who are voting third party, if third party wasn't an option, they wouldn't vote for Harris. They would vote for Trump or not vote top of the ticket. And so the Democratic Party needs to focus on why they're not getting our vote. And it's way past time that they do that.
Your legacy is genocide. The blood of the Palestinians is on your hands. You pledged your full support for Israel while they shot babies, while they blew babies up, while they burned Palestinians alive. Your legacy is genocide. You care more about protecting an apartheid state than defending the rights of Americans. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Let's bring it. Let's bring the temperature down. Let's bring the temperature down. Unlike the current president of the United States, what's happening right now in Gaza, what is happening to the Palestinian people is outrageous, and it breaks my heart. I get it. I'm not president right now. There's nothing I can do about it.
Roland is an immigrant from Lebanon who came to the United States in 2019 and thought to himself, you know what this country really needs? A burger joint dedicated to Donald J. Trump. So he opened up Trump Burgers in Texas. Where else? With Trump flags everywhere and Trump branded buns and MAGA merch. It was basically QAnon themed in and out. And he actually did pretty good for himself. He was even opening up new locations as recently as 2024. Fast forward to 2025 and I shows up. Not to thank him for his support. They basically knocked on the door and said, hey, Roland, get in the fucking van. You see, he thought he was safe because he's a permanent resident, but they revoked his green card. Now he's facing deportation under the same exact Trump policies that he was out here celebrating not that long ago with a side of fries. Poor Roland really thought that he was one of the good ones. And I don't know when these pro-MAGA immigrants are going to get it. Trump's immigration policy is not going to skip you because you put his fucking face on a combo meal. He literally ran on mass deportations. He called immigrants animals. He said they're poisoning the blood of America. They're invading. This is what he said about you. But maybe Roland thought, he's not talking about me. I did it the right way. I imagine that right about now, Roland is finding out that it was never about doing it the right way. It was never about legal or illegal immigration. And it's always been about maintaining that white majority. You know what makes it worse is that Roland's landlord took over one of his Trump burger locations and named it MAGA Burgers USA. He's getting deported and gentrified all at the same time. Poor Roland was out here fucking around, serving Trump combos, and they thanked him by serving him the Find Out Burger with cheese.
Agents.
Thank you.
A mother Monday going inside to say bye to her 4 kids.
She came and kissed the kids and that was it. That's the last time I saw her.
A proud President Trump supporting family in Diamond Bar.
Election time was here. I had a full 3-4 flags out.
Even while their mom faces immigration questions. Has your opinion changed on this?
That's a good question. Somewhat it has. Just because I'm going through it. I was very selfish before. But what I see right now is, okay, there's a reason for it.
Arthur Sahakian's wife, Arpaneh, was born in Iran and moved to the United States when she was 3 as a refugee.
She cashed a check, I believe it was less than $200, and this is all where it started.
Then, about 15 years ago, her green card was revoked over a conviction related to theft.
It's all misdemeanor stuff.
Arthur says they've been going through the legal process towards regaining citizenship with